welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Sarah Crilley and so excited to learn all about chiropractic. I'm here with Dr. Courtney, new business here that's opened in Southlake just 6 months ago. Welcome into our Southlake studio. We're so excited to have you. Hey, awesome. Okay, so for those that don't know, what is a chiropractor? What do you do? I think that there's so much misinformation out there. So let's start to the very basics for our audience.
Yes.
Tell us all about what you do.
Yeah. So as a chiropractor, right, a lot of people, they think that we're just neck and back doctors and we crack your bones and make you feel good. So it's way more involved than that. With our business, we do a little bit different, but we take x-rays of every single person that comes into the office. The reason why we have those x-rays is because if you're dealing with some kind of pain or anything going on, it's because there's a misalignment in the spine and it's putting pressure on those nerves, and then it's your body's way of saying, hey, there's something wrong. Well, if you don't know where that misalignment is, those adjustments, without those x-rays, we're just guessing.
Wow. That sounds like mission critical.
Yes.
So that's the foundation of your business as you start with the x-ray.
Yeah.
Okay, please continue.
Yeah. So every single person that walks in, we take full spine x-rays. And then for those people, we create treatment plans to ultimately correct their spine. So whether it be, get them out of pain, correct scoliosis, be able to walk, you name it. Why I'm a chiropractor is it changed my life. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to do for every single person that walks into my door or that I get to meet, because there's so much uneducated stigma on chiropractic.
Oh, Dr. Courtney, share your story. So this is a passion of yours.
It is. I'm very passionate about it. So it's a very long story. But I tell patients every day, ultimately. So starting off about 16 years old, I was on a lot of different medications, kind of going back before that. I lived in the hospital. I was guaranteed to be in the hospital once a year, maybe twice a year. I was always sick as a kid. And it was just anything and everything. Didn't matter. Like I had a seizure. I had RSV. I was quarantined. Like you name it, I've had it. Okay. And that's kind of, I guess, like where it started. But at about 16 years old, I was on 14 different medications.
Wow.
Medications for depression and anxiety. IBS, I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's literally you can't control your bowels, right? So either constipation or diarrhea, things like that. I also had really problems with my menstrual cycle as a woman at a very young age. I was tested for what they call Crohn's disease. So that's usually like your intestines aren't working and sometimes you're throwing up all the time. That was me. And
wow, it sounds like so much serious stuff going on at such a young age.
Yeah, I did not have that. They tested me for immune deficiency disorder. I saw specialist after specialist after specialist.
Trying to figure out what was going on.
And I just kept getting medication thrown at me. And ultimately, I thought that was like my life. Whatever. Okay, cool. I didn't know any different. I knew I wanted to work in the medical field. I love helping people. I had volunteered in hospitals since I was about the age of 13. My cousin was a nurse in Michigan. And I asked her, can I just come to work with you? Can I shadow you? So I would do things that probably you shouldn't do at that age, but I did because I wanted to know, I wanted to see it. Very, very interested in the body and how it works.
Right on the ground floor of the medical field at such a young age.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at about 17 or 18, I knew I wanted to work in the medical field. So I was like, okay, working for a chiropractor, doctor's office, it looked good. So I applied there. And that is when my life was completely changed.
How has it changed?
So ultimately he came to me after, I think I was working there for maybe a month or two. I don't know how long, but he was like, what is going on? Like, why do you have so many symptoms? Why are you on this many different medications? I was like, this is my life. Like, what do you mean? And so he's like, can I help you? Like, please let me try to help you. I'm like, I've seen every specialist. There's no way you can help me. And he's like, just trust me, right? And I was like, well, I work for you, might as well. So started getting adjusted. I also changed my diet. I did not eat vegetables at all as a kid. So started eating vegetables and started taking a ton of supplements to really just get my body working and kind of figuring itself out. And it was pretty much about 9 months under his care, I started to see results in more than just pain. It was more emotions. It was more my menstrual cycle. It was my digestive system. All of those things started to really improve. And so I pretty much was like, what are you doing? Right? I thought we were just cracking me, make it feel better. And as a chiropractor, what we do is we remove the nerve interference where that misalignment in the spine is causing that. And so when he explained that to me in the most simplistic terms, I said, I want to be a chiropractor. I went home, I told my mom, and within 2 weeks, I completely switched my major, signed up to go to chiropractic school, and started chiropractic school like 4 months later.
Wow, that is amazing. Share with me a little bit more on the science on your nerves. You were talking about out of alignment.
With your spine, right? We all know we all have a spine. Right. And what people don't know is there's nerves that come out of the spine. Think of like a highway, right? And all of those nerves are communicating to your muscles, your tissues, your organs, your entire body. And if there is a traffic jam, right, that highway's not going and flowing. That's the same thing with the misalignment of the spine.
Give me an example of a traffic jam, like I slept wrong or...
So not even that. Right? The cause of misalignments, and it's called a subluxation. So that's a big term, but it's a very like chiropractic term that we use. And all it means is when those bones misalign, and that's caused by the stress we endure throughout our life, the traumas. So traumas can be major, like car accidents, falls, playing sports, but also can be minor.
A sneeze?
Sleeping problems. No, well, that's a different way. So it's more like sleeping, bad postures, repetitive motions, things like that. And then toxins. Toxins are your medications, your processed foods, over-the-counter medication, things like that. It all affects your spine over time.
Wow, this is so fascinating. Okay, so share with me a little bit more on what happens when someone comes into your office. You do that x-ray, and then what does an adjustment look like? Kind of the pricing ranges of the industry just in general.
Absolutely. So it all really ranges, right? So for my office, when we come in, x-rays, full spine x-rays. Now, we will not adjust on that first visit because we take the time to look over those x-rays, and we also will draw lines and figure out, right? Because you talked about like you learned how your leg was shorter than the other.
Yes, I found chiropractic when I was a teenager. I was in cheerleading and I was in a lot of pain. And so my cheer coach said, go to a chiropractor. And they laid me down. And the first thing they did was they saw where my feet were. And they said, all right, 1 foot when you're laying down, when your feet are right next to each other, your heels, they're supposed to be touching. They're supposed to be close to each other. One was like, I don't know if you can see on the video, but one was just a little bit, maybe it was subtle, but they caught it. And they said, you are very much out of alignment. No wonder you're in so much pain. I said, really? Being thrown in the air as a cheerleader, that can like mess with me? And they're like, yes, you need to be here every week for a while.
Yeah.
And it really did help. And I started to notice my posture changed, my demeanor. I felt happier, which was weird, in a great way. So when you're talking about the emotional aspect to it, I experienced that firsthand. And I lived in Michigan, so I'm from Michigan also. So here we are.
Oh, wow.
And you have a newborn, and so I have a new baby too. And so many things, fast friends. Dr. Courtney, I'm so excited. So what brought you to Southlake?
So I grew up in Louisville, literally right down the street. I graduated from Louisville High School, but I always, at about, 15, I've been going to Gateway Southlake.
Wow.
So that's my church. That's my home.
Yes. We have a client that goes to, shout out to Irvin.
Yes. So ultimately, like because I worked at 100% as an associate for 3 years, just right out of school, learning everything, getting, my feet wet. And what pulled me to the company of 100% is how we treat our people. And it's not numbers, right? Every single person that walks in the door is family. And I want to literally change this person's life. So when you come to my office, you'll think you're coming to a party, just about. We have fun, exciting music. We're always offering like water, coffee, tea. It's so funny because people walk in and I'll be like, do you want any water, coffee, or tea, or juice, or anything? And then 2 seconds later, my assistant, hey, can I get you any water, coffee, juice? And they're like, all right, is that all y'all do? And I'm like, we just want to make sure like you feel at home. And I want to create a place that people want to come, right? So when I worked in Richardson, that was where I worked previously at 100%, we had such a family base that we would have like a Thanksgiving. We would do Friendsgiving. We would have like little Christmas parties. And this was all outside of work. It was just all our practice members coming together and just celebrating. And so that's what I want to do, and I want to create here in Southlake.
Yay! Welcome to Southlake. It's such a warm hug here.
Yes.
So where is your location?
So it's literally 2 minutes from this area.
Really? Okay. So we're off of Southlake Town Square, just for proximity.
Yes. So Southlake Town Square, Southlake Boulevard, literally off of Southlake Boulevard. So
we're neighbors.
Yes. 2 lights down. That's my office.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, I came here because I wanted to create what we did in Richardson and just keep expanding and growing to, because there's pretty much 80% of the population that has never seen a chiropractor or don't truly know what chiropractic can do.
This show is brought to you by Real News Communications Network, your digital destination for video podcasts, produced by media and podcast experts.
Yes, and it can change your life from young to old to pregnant. You had shared with pregnancy, even as newborns can get adjustments. Is that correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. So my daughter, I have a 4-month-old and I have a 5-year-old. That's another reason. So I was told I couldn't have kids.
Wow.
At 18, told me I couldn't have kids, that I needed to go through IVF, the ovulation medication. There was a lot of different things that they told me I needed to do. They wanted to do exploratory surgery.
Oh my
because
goodness.
of things going down on
How
there. And
terrifying.
I was like, no, we're not going to do that. And in chiropractic school is when I found out I was pregnant with my son.
Wow.
And
oh, what a miracle.
yes. And then after having him, then later, me and my husband tried again for a while. And I was like, okay, not God's timing. That's totally fine. We don't need to. And so I was like, I'll open up a business, focus on the business. We'll adopt in a couple of years. When I signed the business, 3 months later, I found out I was pregnant with my daughter.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been a little crazy.
Yes,
but,
and this is all this year. So you have your business, your new baby,
Mhm.
and your literal new baby.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for you,
Yes.
Dr. Courtney.
Yeah.
In closing here, share with us a little bit about, let's run the gamut on pricing, and if you're comfortable sharing, just so if somebody wants to come in for a consultation.
Absolutely. So with us, with the first experience, we don't bill insurance or anything because we do take those full spine x-rays. So we have what's called our first experience, and it's $49. So that actually includes 2 appointments. The first one is those x-rays and then just a thorough health history. Understand more of not just the pain, if you're having any kind of like trouble sleeping or digestive issues or anything like that. And then that next visit is when we sit down, go over those x-rays. We'll create a treatment plan of whatever needs to happen, and then that adjustment, and that's actually all covered in that $49.
Awesome. And then do you take insurance, or is
do.
it cash
Yeah.
pay?
So I am in network with all insurance, but our time of service per adjustment is $68.
Okay, awesome. Sounds like there's no question if somebody needs to come in, because you can't put a price tag on not feeling well.
Right.
And that can lead to possibly, more over time, more health problems possibly.
Oh, big time.
And so chiropractor, is this a great way to start, or should you get a referral from a doctor, or does it matter?
You don't have to have a referral at all. You can literally just walk in. The only reason you would need a referral is if you want to go through your insurance, and your insurance has to have that, which is super easy. They literally just write a letter and say, Joe Smo could see Dr. Courtney. Literally, that's as easy as it is. But no, I mean, we are open. You don't have to actually get that referral.
Taking new patients. I encourage everybody to check out Dr. Courtney and her website, and she's here in Southlake and so excited. You want to share your website with us?
100%chiropractic.com.
And I love it. You want to feel like 100%? Check out Dr. Courtney. We'll see you guys next time.
This show is brought to you by Real News Communications Network, your digital destination for video podcasts, produced by media and podcast experts. Podcasting at the speed of news, powered by Real News PR. Visit realnewscn.com for our podcast show library and launchashow.com to do just that, launch a show.